Hey everyone, it's Mike here, and today I'm going to be talking about the realities as a reseller. Right? There's a lot of information out there lately with reselling on eBay and Amazon and Etsy and all this greatness here, and just wanted to make a short video here and talk to you guys about just the realities I've gone through and what I see as a whole. Right? That maybe can help you out, get you on the right path to understanding how this business works because it's really not for everybody, and there's a lot of information again that's put out there that people are saying, hey, it's just easy to do and you can make all this money, and there's no doubt about it, you can make some money doing this, guys. But let's just jump into the video and let me talk about some of the items that some of the things I want to talk about so you can get a clear indication from me, from with my opinion on it. First off, it's not an easy business. Right? It's just not an easy business. That means you have to work. You have to constantly be on the cutting edge, busting your butt, putting in long hours, and making it happen. Right? That's it. At the end of the day, you have to go out there and just hustle, dominate. Long hours listing, taking photographs, stuffing stuff in the boxes, lifting heavy boxes and bringing it to UPS drop-off centers. Right? Packaging orders in the middle of the night, waking up on a Monday and having to package 100 items, right? And so there's a lot of this stuff that people say it's easy to do, but there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people don't ever want to talk about, right? And that's the mundaneness of all this. It's just the constant, really kind of doing the same thing over and over in terms of listing on these platforms like eBay and Amazon. The fun part when you're doing this business is you're treasure hunting, right? You're looking for stuff at thrift stores. So you're out in the field and you get to explore these different avenues, different shops, or scanning products in retail stores. That's the fun part. The hard part is the listing of it all, right? And getting it together, taking the photographs, creating the listings, or even just this, piling up boxes and getting them off to Amazon. There's all that there. The other thing too is there's a big struggle to this business, guys. There's no doubt about it. If you've been watching for a while, I know I've talked about in the past a lot of my struggles personally, and it's just something I think everybody should be aware of when it comes to getting into this business. Is understand that the struggle might happen to you. You might be in a struggle right now getting into this business, right? AKA a money crunch. You're saying to yourself, hey, I need to come up with $3,000 to pay the bills so they don't turn off the lights, or maybe you got a newborn kid out there that you got to buy formula, doctor's visits, all that stuff. But just a quick another story of some struggle I went through early on. It was when me and Kim, we were first married, and we just had a bad 3 weeks on eBay, to be honest with you, and it seemed like everything we could do just wasn't working out, and even the local game, everything. It's like we were turned off from the reselling world, and we were in a pretty hard predicament where we had to come up and make our monthly payment, on our home, and we waited to the last second, and it was pretty much like, hey, listen, we've got to make this happen somehow, and we went down to the pawn shop, right? Believe it or not, over in Cary, Illinois, off Main Street, Route 14, and we pawned our wedding rings, right? We took our wedding rings into the pawn shop, and obviously we paid a lot more for these, and they weren't willing to give us much, but it was enough for what we needed to cover, our monthly bill. So we did it. We weren't pleased about it. We were kind of embarrassed about it. Imagine going to a pawn shop and giving away, your wedding ring, and we did that, and it made ends meet, and we also realized, oh man, now we have to keep selling. We have to get stuff sold so we can go get our rings back, and we did that a couple times, and it was the worst thing in the world to do, realizing that if you couldn't keep it going, they were just going to take your rings, right? And how can you ever replace a wedding ring, right? Especially the original one. So there's definitely struggle in this business, guys. There's going to be ups and downs at any given point, whether it's the beginning. But I can tell you this, though, on a positive note, if you keep doing this year in, month in, week in, just putting in the time and the effort, it does become a little bit easier, to be honest with you. You start getting systems in place, you start listing on other platforms, you start selling more on Amazon, eBay, Etsy. You're dividing yourself in all these different areas that, honestly, things just start coming in as the years start developing for you. So, and another thing too is it's not always about the home runs. Everybody talks about, just home runs, and maybe I contributed that at some point in the Facebook groups or on YouTube, and hey guys, check this out. I paid 3 and sold it for 50. The reality in my business is that there's a lot of smalls that happen, right? Items that I pick up for a quarter and I sell them for a $4 profit. And all those smalls add up over time. And there's nothing like a home run or a grand slam. You're like, yes, boom, right? 3, 4, 500 bucks came in. Those are awesome, but they don't happen every day. They just don't. At least not in my business. But just so I want to make that really clear for you guys that are new and you're listening, that the home runs don't happen every day, right? And just understand that. The other thing is too is you're going to learn as you go. With this business, you're going to have to. You're constantly learning. You're constantly looking at different avenues of what to sell, different niches. Also, especially if you're doing Amazon, maybe getting into other categories. You're constantly learning. I'm learning something every day because I feel if I'm not, then somebody else is learning something, and I'm a very competitive person, so I try to soak in as much knowledge as I can about this business so I can be profitable and I can stay in business. That's the biggest thing. But you're gonna have to learn as you go, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I mean, before the internet here, before ebooks, before paid courses, before a lot of things, I mean, how do you think people got the intel? They had to go out there and do it, right? And so there's a lot of learning curves that you can cut your learning curve down by some paid programs and networking with other people, joining Facebook groups, whether it's paid or free, right? As long as you're feeding your brain information that you can use in the field to really make yourself a better person and be profitable in your reselling business. The other one here is it's going to take years for you to really understand what you're doing, right? In terms of whether you're trying to build a niche or you're trying to, develop a system, right? When I say systems, I'm talking about, your listing process, your shipping methods, right? Your sourcing methods, getting on a schedule. Now you can do this early on in the game, but as you start to actually do this more and more and more, the listings, you're going to find ways to do it faster. Save more time, and it's just a natural part of doing business. As you grow, as you start getting into this business more and more and more, you're going to try to find ways, little shortcuts to speed things up. And that's the biggest thing here, guys. There are no shortcuts. You can watch all the videos till you're blue in the face, right, and think, oh, I'm ready now here. But at the end of the day, the shortcuts are just, okay, here, somebody told you, hey, go look for this item. Cool. You found it at the thrift store. Awesome, right? That helps. But are they going to be there telling you when you're sitting on the couch and you're depressed and, to get you off the couch and go list? No. That's really what it boils down to you, right? With these shortcuts. I mean, you can live any life you want to live. And it just depends on how your work ethic is. How bad do you want it, at the end of the day. So that's really the biggest thing. And only you can really truly make this happen. This is the biggest thing. I talked to so many resellers, guys. I mean, this channel's been around for a while here. I've got Facebook groups, paid things. I've talked to a lot of resellers. I've helped a lot of people out. And I've talked to people that, they failed or they were gung-ho about this for 3 months and then they left the business. And then I reach out, hey, I haven't heard from you in 6 months. What's up? Oh, I had to get a job. There's nothing wrong with getting a job and still do reselling, but when you're kind of thrown in this mix as a reseller, you got to really treat this like a business. This is the biggest thing. You can't take things for granted. And honestly, with this business, time is going to suck up your energy, right? Doing these small tasks like I talked about before, listing products, taking photographs, shipping, right? I mean, you just got to truly understand this, and you got to really have the hustle behind it all, right? You got to be motivated to get your butt out of bed, right? To take photographs of the stack of 100 pieces of clothing, stacks of all these action figures, or these piles of stuff that you're sending to Amazon. You got to motivate yourself, and it's only you that can do this. At the end of the day, whether there's self-proclaimed gurus or these books, these $1 million ideas, all this stuff, or even what I say, at the end of the day, it takes your action to make it happen. That's the biggest takeaway right now of everything I'm talking about just now. Is just you. It's up to you. You have to find what works for you, right? And that is the best advice I can give you. So appreciate you guys hanging in there with me here today, just rambling on, talking about reselling and the realities of it. I think it's something that a lot of people don't really talk about, these small steps and basic things. But honestly, if you understand them in the beginning of your reselling business, it can help you out tremendously. So thanks, you guys, again, for watching. I truly appreciate it. Till next time, I'm out of here. Peace.